Hi, I'm Dr. Mel. We will start the physical sciences with physics and mechanics, meaning the movement. So, what are we going to do in this lesson is focus on new concepts you've never heard of vectors and scalars. So, let's jump right in with a revision. We've measured time. Remember, we measured time in seconds, but we said it can also be in years and it can even be in centuries. So we know we've got different ways of expressing time. We've got Kelvin gauges as a measurement of temperature, but we could also use Celsius or Fahrenheit. So, depending on how and where you apply a quantity, it will be defined with a certain unit. Distance can be meters, but if I'm a dentist, I will measure teeth with millimeters. Meters will definitely not be good for that. But if I want to measure the distance from one town or city to another, it will probably be in kilometers. So, depending on the application, you will use a certain quantity. Current will be in amps, but if it's very small, it will usually be milliamps. Please go and have a look at the conversions and the international system which we've done in the dimension analysis lesson. Then we'll have charge. Charge will be Coulomb, but we might use nanocoulomb, which is a very, very small charge. Bear in mind that you use the right units. Let's just revise quickly. Time will be a small caps T. That is the dimensions that we work with in seconds. Temperature, however, will be a capital T, and we'll measure that in Kelvin. Length we'll measure in meters, but length can be L, it can also be X, and remember X is in the horizontal, or it can be Y, which is in the vertical. And we can often find distance. So there's a few way of expressing length. Meters, however, small caps M. So it's small m, not a large M, because you'll see we'll use that larger or the capital M in something else. Mass will be, again, the small caps M, measured in kilogram. And look at that. Current will be I, which is intensity, the electric current measurement in amps. And then finally, moles, which will be the number of atoms, and that will be expressed and measured in mole. That's just a recap on the units. Today, we are going to focus on the different quantities, a concept that you will only learn in this lesson. And that is the difference between the word scalar and the word vector. Now, first, let's concentrate on scalar. If I say to you, it's 10 meters, I did not tell you it's 10 meters to the right, to the left, up or down. So if it's only quantity or magnitude, it is 10. And then the unit will be meter or 10 kilometer. It's just a quantity and a unit. All of them will be a scalar. If I say to you 2 meter per second, not indicating any direction, it will be the speed. Speed will thus be a scalar, and distance will be a scalar. So those are two of the scalar quantities, and again, it's got size and it's got a unit. What do we do when we work with something with a specific direction? We call that a vector. 10-meter down. You will be able to find that box 10-meter down because it's got an address, it's got a direction. Or north or away. It clearly indicates a certain direction. Just let me in mind that we've got now a vector quantity. And just to make it easier, because there's a certain direction, I like to relate that to an arrow. So you clearly see the V in the direction. 2 meter to the right, 2 meter per second to the right. That will be in a certain direction. Now, speed was a scalar. Now we work with velocity. So the difference between speed and velocity will be the fact that speed is a scalar and velocity is a vector, where I clearly have to indicate the direction. And we'll do quite a few of these quantities. I am asking you a length of 10 meter, a time of 10 seconds, or a mass of 10 kilograms. Will that be scalar or vector quantities? And you could clearly see I never indicated any direction. So I'll have a scalar length, a scalar time, and a scalar mass. Let's move on to something like weight. I didn't tell you in which direction, but you will learn that weight will always be downwards because I've got gravity. I've got the earth pulling you down. That will be vector because it's a certain direction. A force will be to the right, or a force will be south. That will also be a vector. And then acceleration will be in a certain direction, and we'll get to the calculations of that later, but that will also be a vector. So you will be expected to have many quantities and to distinguish between scalar and vector. And let's quickly have a look at these. They're not that difficult. Distance will be a scalar. Voltage will be a scalar. No direction implicated. Velocity, can you remember? Velocity will be in a certain direction. So that will be a vector, where speed will be in any direction, a scalar. Charge will be a scalar. Energy will be a scalar. You use 10 kilojoule picking up anything or putting something down or just walking. So that's not in a defined direction. Wavelength will be a scalar. Temperature will be a scalar. Power is scalar, and work as well, because energy and work will measure the kilojoules that you exert. So in all these cases, it was only velocity that was in a certain direction. So let's see, how do we define direction? Direction will be in different subjects, meaning different ways of getting to that direction. In math, you usually use your x-axis and your y-axis. So you will measure a point there, let's say that is point M, that I will be able to define with coordinates. Remember, in math, you will say it is this point on the x-axis and it's that point on the y-axis. That's the way you measure in mathematics. Make sure that you also measure the angle. This angle might be 38 degrees. And where is it? It's 38 degrees measured from the x-axis. That's the way you'll do it in mathematics. In sciences, we can use two ways. We can use the directions that we have on a compass. Firstly, know that we've got north and south, which is the vertical line. And we've got west and east, which represents the horizontal line. If I again have my point M there, and I have the angle, I could say it is 60 degrees to the east, starting from north. So it's 60 degrees east from north. It might be easier to express 30 degrees north from east. And you'll do many of these calculations in further lessons on mechanics. But we have to have a uniform system where we work, and this will be one of the ways to express direction. We can also, in sciences, work from the y-axis, and you will find mostly Math will work from your x-axis and physical sciences will work from your y-axis. And we will then work towards the x-axis. So if I've got point M there, and again my 60 degrees there, I can express that as a bearing of 60 degrees. And everyone all over the world will know you started at the y-axis and you measured towards the x, or clockwise. If I've got a point there, I would again start there, and you will then measure that 90 plus another 90, so that will give me 180 degrees, and let's say I added 30 there. So I've got a bearing of 180 plus my 30, so the bearing will be 210 degrees. That will clearly say to me, I've got point N, and that has got a bearing of 210 degrees. So it's important that we know from where we start. So, how do we represent vectors? Vectors will always be with a arrow. An arrowhead will indicate to us where it starts and where it ends. So we start here and we call that the tail. This is the starting point, and the end point will then have, as I said, an arrowhead. An arrowhead indicating it didn't move up or down, it moved to the right, or it moved east. Or, and you'll see we'll do that in most of our calculations, we'll indicate that as the positive direction from starting to the end point. So we usually do an arrowhead. I've got another diagram. I've got point A here, and I'm pulling this block, for instance, with a force of 50 newtons to point B. I moved it to the right, I moved it east, or I moved it in a positive direction. On the other hand, I took that same block from B to C. I now pulled it with 30 Newton to the left, to the west, or if you use plus, this will mean in the negative direction. Important that you always indicate vectors with an arrowhead and that you clearly indicate which direction. Let's quickly revise. I've got 10 newtons to the right. I can always say 10 newtons positive. And I've got 3 newtons to the left, which is now minus 3 newtons. You are going to use this in your calculations. Let's quickly recap. Do you know the difference between a vector and a scalar? Remember vector, direction. Can you list quantities as vectors and scalars? Go to any textbooks. Most of them will have a table where you will see the different scalars and the different vectors. And finally, you'll have to be able to differentiate between different quantities and represent it graphically. And how did we do that? We said we start here and we draw an arrow. Good luck. I hope all your vectors and scalars are very accurate and in the correct direction. Bye.